Hello and welcome to Adri's Creative Corner, where we talk about all things Adri. Christian will likely be joining me in every episode for the foreseeable future, but he insisted that we keep the name of the podcast the same.
Yeah, Adri's Creative Corner just flows, and even though I will be speaking as well, this was Adriana's idea, and I just want to keep everything consistent and make it clear that she is the brains of this operation.
Well, thank you very much. But if you ever decide that you want to change it, let me know. Also, I am sorry for my voice screeching right now. I just got back from Disneyland and I accidentally screamed a lot on all of these rides. So here we are.
I hope you and your daughter had a fabulous time, but I'm so glad that the two of you are back.
Aw, thanks. It's good to be back home. But today, we will be discussing the concept of trust and what it really means in the creative process.
As creatives, we are often called to visualize a completed project in our minds before we've even started it, which can be quite the undertaking.
Ooh, would you be able to elaborate on that just a little bit more?
Absolutely. What I mean is that visualizing the end product of something before we've even taken the steps to make the project happen in the first place sometimes can feel a bit overwhelming, and I'm just here to say that that's a normal feeling. As creatives, we can all relate to that because there's so many steps that we need to take in order to complete whatever project we have in our minds. And regardless of that, we can't let our thoughts overwhelm us or scare us into inaction and doing nothing. Rather, we should use those feelings of fear to propel us forward and to bring progress to our work.
Ooh, yes, I love that. Speaking from experience and from what I've seen, a lot of people tend to stay in their comfort zone and would rather just stay there instead of facing the uncomfortableness of going out and facing their fears. I know it's easier said than done, but I understand what you're saying, where you're coming from.
Yeah, and as a human being, a fellow human being, I can relate as well to the notion of wanting to stay in my comfort zone. It would be a lot easier for me to do that, but at the same time, the art that I make is not going to be authentic or genuine. It's not going to be expansive. Rather, it will just all be the same, and it won't push me to grow as a person. Which brings me back to our main topic of discussion. Adri, what does trust mean to you? Can you define it for us?
To me, trust means to understand that although the unknown can be scary at times, all aspects of my life will flow together in harmony. Trusting is the opposite of worrying.
I completely agree with you on that. I would define trust as not needing to see the entire staircase in order to believe that I'll make it to the top in perfect timing. Okay, so now that we've each defined what trust is, Adri, can you define what trust is not?
I mentioned that the opposite of trust is worry. Worry often pushes us to start forcing things to happen rather than attracting and allowing things into our lives. I can think of times in my life when I worried more than I trusted. I could talk about a more recent experience in regards to worrying. So last year I was in a car accident and my car was totaled and I had to turn in my car, and then that was like a whole worry in itself because it was paid off. My ego wanted to take over and was now starting to begin in lack mindset, like, oh, people are saying that it's hard to find a car nowadays after COVID. And I really had to meditate on it and know that everything was going to happen, best case scenario, everything was going to happen the way it should if I just trusted, and it would just flow. So after I turned in my car, I had a very limited time as well that where I had to get a car. And it literally just flowed. I found a car up near where I live, and that same night I was able to put down a deposit. It was like my dream car. It was everything that I wanted, and it was the color black. So it's just crazy. Like, once you trust and you know things are gonna work out, it really will just flow. There's not a force that you need to put into it, because if there's any kind of force, it just doesn't work out.
That's a really interesting perspective, and I do think a lot of us can relate to that. I'm glad, though, that once you finally surrender those worries, doubts, fears, etc., you're really able to put your energy and focus into achieving your desired outcome, and you got your dream car and the color that you wanted as well. So very nicely done.
I just want to say I'm not perfect either. Like, we're all human beings, and there's constant work that we have to do on ourselves. Most recently, I just did a meditation actually about trust, and the words were so small in my mind as I meditated and envisioned it, and then all of a sudden the words were so huge just surrounding me. And in my meditation, in my vision, I just saw that I was worried and I was scared and I was fearful of the word trust as it was circling around me in huge words. But then I was able to just sit down calmly and trust that everything was going to be okay, no matter what. And then after that, in my mind, the way I visioned things, it was just so beautiful after. So it's constant work. It's not like it's going to happen overnight. It's not like I went from 0 to 100. And it's work that I continuously put in, because I'm not about to go backwards. I'm going forward. But really quick, also with you, is there an example that you wanted to share that you've gone through with trust and worry?
Yeah, I really do want to say that I too feel that the opposite of trust is worry. A most recent scenario was when I was starting my search for producers. I just wasn't sure where even to start. And then when I finally narrowed it down to the right producer, which I'm still working with now, shout out to him, I was still very overwhelmed. Day one, I just received an influx of information. I feel like I was inundated by industry jargon, and I just felt very overwhelmed and more unsure of myself, because I had never really gone after my dream in a professional way. And now that I was, it was as if the rug had been swept from under me, and I was a rookie again, and I didn't know anything, and that worried me. And when I left the studio that night, I was thinking to myself, should I quit while I'm ahead? Should I just not make music? There's just a lot of things that go into this. I wasn't prepared for this. But my higher self told me, go back. Just go back even one more day. You'll figure it out one step at a time. Your producer's here to help you. You will evolve through this process, and you will come out better and stronger than ever before if you commit to yourself and commit to this dream.
Oh yeah, I do remember that, and I'm glad you stuck with him, because he's freaking amazing.
Yeah, we honestly make a really great team, and I always tell you about this, but for a long time, especially after I finished college, I wondered what I was still doing in Colorado. My heart is not here. I don't really want to live here for the long term. I mean, I wouldn't mind having a property here someday when I have property, but my heart ultimately is in California. I've always wanted to go there. And now looking back, I know that if I had left too soon, I may never have met Matt, my producer. So again, trusting the timing of my life has been completely invaluable in this process, this pursuit. And I encourage all of you who are listening, even though things may not look exactly the way you want them to right now, just remember that it's just a season and everything is working together for you. Life is not happening to you, it's happening for you.
Agreed. As I like to say, everything happens, best case scenario. Shout out Roxy Talks.
So one more question. On that same token, what are some daily practices that encourage you to keep trusting that there's so much more to your life than your current circumstances?
Back to me. I'm just kidding. What are some daily practices? Definitely meditation every single day. I cannot let go of that. I want to be on top of my thoughts. Sometimes like my old mindset wants to come into place, just being aware of what's happening and the things that I say out loud and my beliefs. Just really staying on top of that is huge.
I would say the same, whether it's meditation or sitting in silence. For me personally, I find that vocal exercises help me quiet my mind and sort my thoughts out better. Just anything that takes the focus off of your current circumstances and places it back on you. For me, that's what's been the most effective. And it is important to do it daily and to be consistent so that your brain is rewired in that way. And anytime you feel like you're in distress or you're overwhelmed or you're anxious, you can reground, go back to that place and do those activities to keep those thoughts at bay.
Yes, I love that. Definitely just staying on top of it and just knowing that there's so much more to it. You've got this. Just trust the process.
Like Adri says, there is more to your story than what is happening right now. Remember that what you are doing and the habits that you're forming now are creating your future. So be more mindful, more selective, and you will see the results right before your eyes.
I believe in myself and Christian and all of you. And a good affirmation to use every day would be something like, I believe in myself and I trust myself fully. But I know we can all do this. Let's commit to ourselves and live our most wildest dreams. But thank you again for listening to Adri's Creative Corner. Please comment using hashtag Adri's Creative Corner with any questions you may have, any questions. But until next time, bye!